1607, Captain Gabriel Archer, the Honorable George S. Percy, Christopher Newport, Bartholomew Gosnold, Edward Maria Wingfield, with 25 others, landed on what we now know to be Cape Henry, in Virginia Beach. On the evening of April 29, 1607, while trying to enter the Powhatan River, the colonists ran into Willoughby Spit. This is on the Norfolk side of the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. Here they found shallow water that they considered to be a great way. The next morning, they rowed across the great waters to the opposite side of the channel, which put them in at a point of good comfort. They then named a place Cape Comfort, later named Point Comfort, aka Old Point Comfort. There will be more about this in another true history video. From 1607 to 1610, a stream video by the name of Jamestown can give fully semi-factual dramatized events of those years. In 1610, some of the settlers left Jamestown and make a permanent settlement at Kicketon. Here St. John's Church was erected. Now it is subjective whether or not it is the first English church on this great continent. I am sure that Jamestown settlement will want to weigh in on which came first. Nevertheless, many souls were saved in both edifices. According to Virginia Places, Governor Samuel Argall divided the colony west of the Chesapeake Bay into the 4 Anglican parishes of Henricus, Kicketon, English spelling Kecougghtan, Charles City, and James City in 1617. In 1619, the Virginia Company created the Elizabeth City Corporation comprising of 50 acres. It was later reorganized as Elizabeth City County in 1638. The history of Elizabeth City will be shared in an upcoming True History video. In April 1691, an act of the General Assembly at Jamestown established Hampton as a port and later as the customs port of the Lower James River District. In 1705, the town of Hampton was founded by an act of the British legislature. It was then given the name Hampton Town. The town was named in honor of the English Earl of Southampton. This video is one of a few sources that identify Henry Wriothesley, 3rd Earl of Southampton, Baron Wriothesley of Titchfield, as the person the town was named. Wriothesley succeeded his father's earldom in 1581. He attended the University of Cambridge and was presented at court at the age of 17. The Baron would be quite the rebel, with many causes such as breaking the tradition of noble marriages to ladies-in-waiting, participating in rebellions, and falling from grace when he opposed the Duke of Buckingham, a royal favorite. For a few of these actions, he served jail time. On the lighter side of his reputation, Wriothesley was a patron of Shakespeare. While fighting Spain, he died of fever at the age of 51. Hampton's actual original nickname was Gamecock Towne. It was a popular destination for cockfighting championships in the 1700s. According to Colonial Williamsburg, cockfighting was the second most popular sport after horse racing. Everyone went. People from every class owned gamecocks. Who can forget Chicken George from Alex Haley's renowned book Roots? In 1630, Colonel Claiborne acquired 150 acres of Elizabeth City encompassing today's downtown Hampton. 50 years later, the property was owned by Captain Thomas Jarvis and Elizabeth Duke. What is important to note that his wife was the stepdaughter of Nathaniel Bacon, Jr., son of the leader of Bacon's Rebellion. That same year, the British General Assembly passed legislation that used eminent domain to acquire 50 acres of counties and towns to be the centers of trade and sole places for importing and exporting. The Elizabeth City County selected 50 acres of Captain Thomas Jarvis property, which became known as Hampton Town. This property was to be used to create offices for the county supervisors and to be divided into half lots. That same year, the British General Assembly passed legislation that used eminent domain to acquire 50 acres of counties and towns to be the centers of trade and sole places for importing and exporting. The Elizabeth City County selected 50 acres of Captain Thomas Jarvis property, which became known as Hampton Town. This property was to be used to create offices for the county supervisors and to be divided into half lots. The act was soon suspended when it was disrelished by both merchants in England and planters in Virginia. By the time the act was revived 1691, Colonel Claiborne was deceased, It is unknown if through the new law if he was compensated for the loss of his land. They did, however, take 50 acres west of the Hampton River, which is now known as downtown Hampton. Again, frustrations rose, and the law was again revised to allow for 12-acre lots to be sold for £178 of tobacco with the condition of building business establishments. By 1698, 26 lots were sold and built upon, making it prosperous enough for a constable to be appointed. Designated as a port in 1708, Hampton became very prosperous. Its waters swarmed with crabs and valuable fish, and on the beds beneath the sheet of liquid blue lay great quantities of oysters, clams, and mussels, all of which served as exporting and restaurant revenues for businessmen of the town. After the Revolutionary War, Hampton was reincorporated as an official town in 1849 under the Virginia General Assembly. The popular city was incorporated in 1852, but the Act of Incorporation was repealed in 1860. The General Assembly again incorporated the town of Hampton in 1887, and it became a city by court order in 1908. In 1952 it was enlarged to merge Elizabeth City County, the town of Phoebus, and portions of Newport News. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. We would like to research true history that you are interested in. Please share on Facebook or your favorite social media outlet.